In this video, we're going to be talking all about cash flow investing and how you can use it to retire in 5 years or less. Coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dee Burks, and this is Retirement Rescue, where we learn how to make money, save money, and live well in retirement. Well, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how is someone over 50 ever going to save enough money to actually retire? It's a great question. And one of the things we talk about a lot on this channel is how you have to think differently about retirement and how you're going to make the money to retire if you're over 50. Now, there's nothing wrong with traditional investing. You save your money, you invest it. And especially if you're young, that is a great, easy way to plan for retirement. If you save $100 a month, you'll be a millionaire by the time you're 65. We've all heard that. Well, guess what? If you're over 50, you don't have that kind of time. That would take 30, 40 years, and you need to be living on that money. You don't have the time to, number one, save that much money, and you certainly can't just let it sit there and grow when you need to be using it to live. The way you get around that is something that's called cash flow income. In other words, rather than just taking all of the money you can scrimp together and save and putting it into a stock account to grow, you are looking for investments or ways you can actively create items that will produce income passively so you can build up that income that will create the retirement that you want. Now, let's just think about this in numerical terms. Let's just say, and we're going to use these numbers for ease of math, okay? If you have the $1 million retirement account and you want to retire, the market usually averages 10%. 10% of that million is $100,000 a year. That's a great retirement. No matter who you are, that's a decent amount of money. Now, granted, if you live somewhere that's much more expensive to live, it's not so great. But that's what $1 million will get you if you do it traditionally. But honestly, who has $1 million in their retirement account? The average retirement account over the age of 50 is $107,000 right now. The median, the actual most common amount, is $63,000. How are you going to get to $1 million? Well, the bottom line is you're not. You're probably not going to get there, at least not quickly. So what you have to do instead is look at ways to earn passive income. And even if you invest that money in the stock market, what happens if it goes down? What happens if those investments are cut in half? What happens if inflation takes off and starts to escalate? Those are all things that you have zero control over. And let's just say something happens like what happened in 2008. If you retire with your $1 million, like people did in 2007, and then a year later you look at your account and it says $500,000 because the market dropped, well, all of a sudden that $100,000 worth of income you're living on has dropped to $50,000. Now, did your expenses drop by half? Odds are they didn't. And so what you end up doing is taking out money at the bottom of the market because you don't have income where you can wait for that money to go back up. So it's very dangerous to put all your money into one basket for retirement and expect that to sustain you without any changes over what could be 25, 30, 35 years. There is no way to guess what all these things out of your control are going to do. One of the ways you protect yourself is having cash flow, having income that keeps pace with inflation, income that isn't dependent on the underlying asset. Now, let me tell you what that means. It would mean things like dividend stocks. Now, a lot of stocks, you buy the stock, and every quarter or every month or every year, they determine when they're going to pay those dividends out. They pay you a little perk for being an investor. Sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 5%. They may pay 10%. Some are even higher. But the vast majority are somewhere between 3 and 6% as dividend producing stocks. Those dividends keep coming in no matter how the underlying stock price fluctuates. It does not affect your income from that stock. So that is a great thing to invest in if you're looking for income. And we're looking for that income. Another great thing you can invest in is real estate. Real estate is largely a passive investment. It does take some work, and there are things you have to learn to get into it. But once you invest in real estate and you have people renting from you, that is one of the things that does not go down even when the broader economy crashes. While the real estate housing market may go down, it doesn't matter. You own the property. So the underlying asset and what it's worth doesn't really matter. You will still continue to get that rental income. And rental income is one thing that stays the same or escalates when there's a recession because the demand is higher. So that's a great way to protect yourself from a recession, is have that kind of income. Now let's say you don't want to be a landlord. Hey, that's fine too. Then you need to be producing income from other areas. One of the things that I will be doing here in the next few months is taking classes that I used to teach in a continuing education setting in college and putting them into an online environment. Those are writing classes. And they were always very popular, but it was very limited to the number of people I could physically teach. Well, now it's become much more user-friendly to put any kind of class that you may have into an online environment. Online classes are growing by leaps and bounds. People love to educate themselves online, and they're willing to pay for that. Now, once you create a class like that, even though it may take you a few months to film little videos, to create all the handouts, to do the curriculum, once it's done, you promote it and put it on autopilot. The promotion's on autopilot. The classes are on autopilot. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be there to teach. So instead of teaching 10 or 12 people this class, every month you could be teaching 100 people, 1,000 people. It doesn't matter how many, because you're not directly involved in that process anymore. So it earns money even while you sleep. Those are the types of business ideas that you can implement that will help you become financially independent and go ahead and retire if you're still working. But if you're not working, they will add to that retirement and allow you to grow your assets rather than drawing them down so fast. Now, in addition to things like rental income, dividend income, and online classes, you also have digital products that will allow you to teach people how to do things. Do you like to cook? You can do an online cookbook. Do you like to write? You could get into the world of writing, as I do. I write too. So those digital products are things, again, you can sell 24/7. They don't require your direct involvement, but once created, they'll continue to produce income. Now, one other area you might think about, especially if you have been in retail, is an online store like through Shopify. Those are very easy to set up. There are many videos on YouTube on how to set one up, and we'll be doing one as well. And you can create products that are drop shipped where you don't have any inventory, you don't ever handle the product, and you can drop them straight to your customers. That is a great way not to be attached to a retail store that has to be open certain hours, certain times. If you are opening an online store, it can be open all the time. When people are online, they're shopping, you do the promotion online, everything is online and it's automated. So that is a wonderful way to put that knowledge base, if you have retail knowledge, to work for you in retirement. Each of these areas, once up and going, will cover your basic expenses many times over. That extra money is the money you then take. You put them into dividend producing stocks, you put that into real estate, and that is how you produce all of these streams of income. Now let's talk about getting started. Number one, you have to set goals. And beyond setting goals, You have to actually do them. And the motivation to do the things that will get you the life you want is the biggest holdup for most people. You have to become so sick and tired of being sick and tired of worrying about your future that you are willing to put in the work, you are willing to learn those new skill sets, and you take action now. Now understand, this is not some magic ATM where you're going to make $1 million tomorrow. That's not the point. It is not that at all. It takes work, it takes effort, and some things will be more successful than others. You have to realize that. It's not a magic income stream that just delivers money to your front door and you're going to live the Lambo life. No, it is not that at all. You have to be willing to put in the effort. You have to be willing to understand what's required and get the skills you need to make it happen. Once you put these things into action, you have to then step back and evaluate what's working, what's not working. It is a constant ongoing evaluation process to ensure you are maximizing every income stream you have. And if there's one that's not producing, you cut that baby off and you move on. The idea that passive income is something that you never do anything with and it's just going to produce all this money is ridiculous. That's not how it works. You have to be willing to put in the effort. You have to learn the skills. You have to evaluate. You have to monitor. And you have to correct anything that's off track. Now, this is nothing that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm learning new skills on this YouTube channel so I can apply those to put the classes online. I'm going to be adding a blog and a podcast because those are natural outflows from the YouTube channel. And my plan is to create those multiple streams of income right along with you. But you have to be motivated. You have to get off the couch, put away the Cheetos, and start doing something about your future now. Now, if you're interested in following along with us, click subscribe, and I'll see you next video.